Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between and beyond, sharpen your pitchforks, light your torches, because Todd McFarlane has stolen the Strong Collector's idea. Stick around and let's talk about it. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Strong Collectors Podcast. I'm your host, Dakota, here with my co-host, Jordan, and today we are mad at Todd McFarlane.
We are pissed, Dakota, royally pissed. I must say, I feel a little betrayed, more so than when I bought a Batman Year 2 and his arm exploded, and I could never get a replacement part like I was told. That was betrayal number one. Well, maybe not one. But this one tops it all.
Straight from the horse's mouth, anyway, because he did say there was replacement parts for that. But anyway,
that's true.
Today, we are mad about the new Superman 4 different page punchers, because these aren't just your typical page punchers that all come with the same comic book. These come with a 4-part series. You got to buy each individual character to get your issue number 1, 2, 3, 4 to complete your story. Now, that sounds pretty much the exact same thing I said. So let's check the tapes, because I brought receipts. So going from plastic in the package to paper in the package, you've got the page punchers coming out.
Yep.
I guess how much say do you have in which comics? I imagine that the 7-inch scale is probably promoting the Black Adam movie.
Yeah.
But I guess future lines, if there's going to be future lines, do you think those will still all be the same comic, or kind of going along with the smaller scale figures where they're kind of the like showcase issues?
So that's it. So there's a couple of different ways we're talking about it. And it's all sort of time and effort and sales, depending what's going on. We're doing some where, again, it's a unique comic book. You can't get anyplace else, right? So there's a bit of a drive. But again, if you're doing 5 characters, then ideally it'd be cool if you could do 5 new comic books. But if you can't do 5 new comic books, then can you do, like you're saying, maybe the origin of them, or some story that's relevant about that character in the package, and maybe do a unique, even though it might be a story that had come out 20 years ago, and put a unique cover that nobody's ever seen on it. So at least you're not just, it's not a complete 100% sort of reprint. But somebody who might not be familiar with the character, once they read that one issue, go, oh, okay, I feel like I now know what this toy character is all about.
Sure.
So we're navigating through all that, because you can imagine trying to do comic books, because I have a comic book division too. Doing comic books as a backup or in conjunction with toys on an ongoing new basis is not as easy as it may sound.
Well, it kind of adds another timeline to deal with too, right? Yeah. That was Dakota's pitch for
I was gonna say, if you want to, I don't know if you've thought of this already. If you haven't, I'll accept royalties if you want to give them. Okay. But if you do a page puncher for Spawn, and each one is kind of like its own mini series that you can't get anywhere other than getting the action figures, you got to collect all the action figures to collect all the issues to get the whole story.
So I don't have to give you royalties, because we've thought about it already.
Dang it!
But the Spawn's an interesting one, because if DC wants to give me a unique comic book that I can sell and promote, like, cool, right? I'm in, right? I'll do it. But as somebody who's also president of Image Comics, and we deal with and have been, we're celebrating our 30th anniversary this year.
That's right.
Of Image Comics and Spawn, because they both came out in the same year.
Yeah.
The retailers have been good to us for 3 decades, right? And I don't know if the way this is, I get these weird things in my head. Maybe they're not so weird, but I just I don't know. Somebody's been supportive for 30 years. It's tough for me to say that the way to reward them is to say, hey, and guess what? You made me so popular. I'm going to do a comic book, and you can't get it. Neener, right? I don't know. It doesn't seem like the way to keep them on your side.
Yeah, you don't want to force a collection to. If you want
to
read the book, you have to buy everything. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't want their customers going outside their store. to go get a book that they've been 30 years have been getting in their store because they've been supporting me.
All right. So maybe I overreacted just a little bit. Just a little bit. I still think if Todd wanted to throw me some royalties, I would take them. But I guess clarifying, he did say he would never do that with Image Comics because I gave the idea of doing it with a Spawn book. He doesn't want to cheapen the brand and like the relationship he has with Image Comics. But I think it's kind of funny. He's happy to do it with DC's brand and their relationship with comic book stores. So I suppose that makes a little bit sense. What do you think, Jordan?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you had first said that, I get the two-sided part of that, right? It is kind of cool to incentivize you, A, to get them all, but B, it's like you're getting something different. Whereas I think, like, even if you wanted to buy them all, I think it's kind of lame to get the same comic in everything.
Right. Yep.
Like, that's what was cool about, remember, the Marvel Legends back in the day. You'd get, it wasn't an overarching story, of course, but it was specific to that figure, right?
Right.
Like, if you bought a wave and every time it was the same comic, I think it's just like, I don't even need this in here because I already got it, right?
Then I would have understood you throwing away your comics as a kid.
Because I'd say I already have it, yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah, I think, like you said, I think this is a cooler idea. And he still does those, like, Marvel Legends style. You get your Spotlight comic issue with the smaller page punchers. But we're collecting more of those larger, like the 7-inch scale stuff. I've never gotten any of the page. Have you ever actually gotten a page puncher?
I've not, no.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't either.
I've seen some that I've like waited to go on sale. Maybe there were some. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want that like Barbarian Batman.
I think that one I thought looked kind of cool. I was even a little intrigued by the like clunky Mr. Freeze looking guy.
Yeah, I remember that.
I never wanted to pay full price for it because it's kind of a big hunk of plastic. But I'm curious what that. It's so cool, dude. But I'm curious as to what that storyline is because it looks kind of wild.
Yeah.
I still don't really know. I guess that's why he wants me to buy the book. But
I mean, yeah, we've had the leaks of the Ghost of Zod for quite a while, and I was expecting more of like the the Young Justice style of like Phantom Zone Zod.
Yeah.
Which this one kind of looks like the Mythic Legion's Poxus a little bit with his like undead head and beard and all that. So I think it's a decently looking cool figure, like kind of that translucently. I think it's a little translucent green. I think a lot of people are excited for that Earth 2 Superman. I don't think
we've been talking about that one for a while, I feel.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think people are kind of not that excited for the armored Superman. I think that one, I think it's a saving grace that you can take that armor off. Because if that armor was stuck on him, I think that looks so goofy, and I don't know, maybe it's a super cool comic and I'm going to love it, but not going to hold my breath. I think that looks kind of weird. Brainiac.
To me, it's a little too busy, I think. I think it's where you're like doing a little too much. Because Todd kind of can tend, I think, sometimes, and maybe that's just out of that 90s era to like over-design. You know, like you got a million pouches or a million spikes, and sometimes it looks cool, but I think sometimes it can be like you're kind of just throwing stuff on this guy for the sake of it.
Yeah. And some people may say it's not enough too much. To those people.
I want an even more armored Superman.
And the Brainiac, I think, looks fine for a Brainiac. I see that looks like a Brainiac I've seen before. It's not my favorite version of what Brainiac looks like, but I think it works. I think, folks, it's okay. Set down your pitchforks. They're sharpened for the next riot that we go on. Blow out the torches. We'll leave Todd this time. If he ever does this with Spawn, though, get those pitchforks right back out, because Todd said. So, and I think it does make sense that, like, I see what he's trying to do, where he's like, we've had a good relationship for 30 years with these comic book stores. Why would I then take these comics and just put them in Target or Walmart or whatever, and then the comic book stores are kind of like hurt by the, like, you can't get this miniseries at the stores.
Yeah.
It makes sense. I still think it would be fun. And maybe I think it would be kind of cool if he made it like a comic book store exclusive. I think that would be really cool, because it's like now you've got to get people to go into these brick and mortar comic shops that maybe are struggling a little bit more than your Targets and Walmarts that he's putting in tons of exclusive figures.
Maybe they'll pick up some other stuff while they're there.
I think that would be really cool for Page Punchers. I guess he wants to put these comics maybe in retailers like Walmart and Target, because then Joe Schmo is just going to go in, pick up a book and be like, oh, that was kind of a cool book. I want to read more of these. And that takes them to the comic book store. So I guess there's two sides to that. But I still think it would be cool if we could get somehow to do like a comic book store exclusive. Not like one single store, but like every store can get them. Walmarts and Targets don't get them.
Like you got to be a comic store. That's
right.
a cool idea.
Yeah. Todd, I want royalties for that one. I swear, if you don't give me royalties for that one,
we will sue.
I'll find a lawyer somewhere. I'm sure somebody listening. If you're a lawyer, comment down below because I may need you in the future.
Our YouTube rants copyrighted material? That's the question.
I wonder. I'm almost positive they're not. But lawyer, please leave us a comment. We will get you on retainer. Probably only going to pay you in crappy D-list action figures, but it's something. Let us know what you think about these page punchers. How do you like the idea of a 4-part series being the page puncher versus the same issue with every single character? Let us know in the comments down below. Like the video, make sure you're subscribed, and until next time, stay strong.